Hello friends, welcome back to Innovations in Pricing. We are carrying forward with the discussion we have been having and building across pricing as a key element in marketing mix, where we are focusing upon how innovations have to be driven within pricing, and definitely we would be carrying forward this discussion towards that how innovation in pricing should be associated or should be foreseen as to be associated with the complete value chain, and specifically and especially with other elements of marketing mix. And I hope that you are enjoying this subject up till now, wherein we have tried to build up a case around innovations in marketing at large. And definitely we would be coming towards marketing of innovations, which would be more interesting in terms of that we would be looking at largely the applications which are taking place through innovations in marketing for marketing of innovations, and that would be the crux of that portion which I would be dealing with after this. But now we are focusing upon as far as some pricing strategies, innovations in pricing strategies with a fresh perspective, definitely with lots of examples and elemental insights from several good authors. So, let us see what is in our store. There are several aspects which we should be looking at. Now, one of those is good, better, best market segmentation. Although we have tried to build up a case around that, today we are focusing upon micro segments, individualistic targets, but then the desire for homogeneity with some reference point always carries us forward in that kind of a direction. So, that always remains there, but let us not confuse ourselves. We here in innovation marketing, we are taking a stand that we are, and whole of the world largely is focusing upon micro segments and individual targets largely. So, now let us look at how this happens, but before I must tell you that because we have been focusing upon innovation also with reference to product differentiation. Now, when we are talking of product differentiation, then there is an an important evolution of, or let us say a progression which comes up with reference to brand differentiation. There are many products under an umbrella brand, and for details you can always refer to my subject on product and brand management, wherein I have elaborated at length on these elements largely. But product differentiation is the key, wherein not only we have to differentiate our offering with respect to other substitutes and largely alternatives as well, and we have also traversed into share of pocket, which I would not touch in this particular example. So, substitution and alternatives, so we have to differentiate our product with reference to that, but within our products also differentiation calls for. It is required in many cases because we are expanding ourselves, we are focusing upon micro segments and targets. So, we have to have different products in the same category also. Now, once we are focusing upon this kind of an element, differentiating our own products, and even they are called upon by the same name, then also we have to differentiate within that by slightly giving them some code or differentiation point or differentiating name. And if it does not seem so right, and if we are looking for every individual product to spread across, then definitely we have to give them different kinds of names and different kinds of identities. So, product differentiation progresses into brand differentiation at large, and you see that happens in a product line, and definitely when we are talking of product width also. But at this moment, just try and imagine that differentiation with innovation is the key. So, product differentiation and brand differentiation, and when we are differentiating the brand, so that product identity has to be different and communication has also to be different. So, just keep this in mind, and you see, if we have to do this, then price differentiation becomes inevitable in most of the cases, and that is very important, because differentiation is also related to positioning, as we have talked about. And as I am regularly saying, that you can refer to other subjects also to strengthen this point. So, then price differentiation comes in. Now, let us look at this situation slightly with a reverse kind of a point of view, that price differentiation is there. So, how to justify that price differentiation? Definitely product differentiation has to be there, and to justify that, to establish that, brand differentiation has to come in. So, just keep this in mind of product differentiation, brand differentiation vis-a-vis price differentiation, or price differentiation and product and brand differentiation in sequence. But here the focal point is price. So, when we are talking of good, better, best market segmentation, now one way to implement innovation in pricing strategy is move from one size fits all pricing policy to a policy with a multiple price and value configurations, reflecting differences in value creation for different market segments, micro segments, even individualistic targets. And that is quite natural. Then good, better, best market segmentation offers individuals a large number of products at different price points in order to address a broad array of customers with large variations in willingness to pay. You see, even these are different kinds of burgers with very, I would not say minor, but not so substantial difference. For example, if you look at potato based burgers, then there can be flavors which differentiate those burgers actually. Even in French fries, you have butter based French fries, or let us say non butter based French fries, and price differentiation definitely is there. So, you see, even if the differentiation is slightest, the price definitely comes into play. Now, here is an example, for example, that Allstate, an auto insurance company, divides individuals into 4 distinct clusters: high/low brand sensitivity and high/low self service, people who want to be served. So, that is the kind of differentiation is there. And then this company competes in these different market segments through 4 distinct brands, offering a substantially different customer experience at different price points. When you are looking at a larger market growth, then this probably comes as a natural choice also. But here we have to understand that if this is an innovative choice, if this is a deliberate choice, if this is a thoughtful choice, then you are ahead of several other contemporaries in your category. Now, let us see needs based market segmentation. Now, here again differentiation, though need based, through production and technological capabilities that evolves. Although it is need based, but that is enabled by production and technological capabilities, and we have seen that, and I have been building up this case around when we enabled ourselves towards larger production flexibilities. I have talked about that at length when I was referring to these kind of things in my earlier sessions. Now, it was good for segmentation and is valid for micro segments and targets as well. For example, software industry. Now, you differentiate within that need sphere. What is the customized, what customization can be done in terms of product for a particular kind of a customer. But then, as I said, if price is the focal point, then product differentiation can come in, and if it has started from product differentiation, which we have already talked about, then price would naturally evolve. But here again, as I am saying, price is the focal point. So, just keep in mind that what kind of a premium this kind of a product may achieve in terms of willingness of the customer to pay, and how we can customize this with reference to the need itself. And for example, automotives also, it is happening. There are several kinds of automotive manufacturers in the world who are differentiating their products with this kind of a reference, which is enabled by production and technological capability. Travel, huge huge kind of customization is there, but the origin definitely is catering to micro segments through price differentiation while catering to product differentiation as such. And here the picture can be seen from both the sides, and that is the case we are trying to build up. And when I would be talking about distribution, the place where we take our products to, how do we distribute, then that would also add value to this discussion. And you would see that there are, you see, it's just like that we are at this moment we are juggling with two balls, product and price and product and price, and suddenly the third ball of distribution, this product, price and distribution would come in, and then integrated marketing communication would also join in, because that is the fourth P of marketing. So, four balls would be there like this, you are shuffling those balls, and then that is how the scene would keep on developing in due course of time. That is the objective. But the regulation of these balls is done through innovation and innovative perspective, innovation in marketing. That is the point which we have to learn throughout this course. So, you see, travel, restaurants, I have just talked about, burgers or French fries, and it also reduces cannibalization within our own product categories or product lines, because many times what we have realized, and marketing text has been referring to this, is that when you start growing one of your products within a line, then some other product gets receded, because some customers from this side get shifted to other other side. But when we are talking of micro segments, individualistic targets, and when we are focusing upon need based market segmentation, here if we are focused upon pricing as an element, and we have talked about some pricing mechanisms earlier as well, then you would realize that cannibalization of one of the products gets reduced. So, need based market segmentation allows the company to simultaneously offer a multitude of products in the premium as well as in the entry level category with close to zero cannibalization, since these products are squarely targeted at clearly distinct needs of well defined customers. This resonates also with the core product, the augmented product, the potential product, that kind of a thing which I have discussed in other subject as well. Since the global rollout of its needs based market segmentation approach, Electrolux, a Swedish household appliance manufacturer, has far outpaced its competitors in terms of growth and profitability, and there are several such kinds of examples wherein people have reached to that kind of a stage. This is one of the examples to explain, and I would strongly request you to look into the websites of all the examples which we are quoting. Try and associate those with the case studies written on those examples, which are easily available on different websites or search engines, and try to find out what actually have they done. So, this will strengthen the detailed argument which we are trying to build up here, and references are definitely given at with every slide and every text which we are using. This is Hinterhuber A and Lozu S, Innovation in Pricing, Contemporary Theories and Best Practices, Rutledge. So, here come in pay for performance pricing. Now, this is also very interesting, that you charge as per the performance promised by you. This is important. I used to work with media industry long back, and sometimes clients, they do ask you that, okay, you have given us the statistics and the differentiation point in terms of advertising with your media vehicle, with your media options which you are giving up, for example, a newspaper, then but how do you assure that it will bring in results? Now, you see, that kind of a conviction can only be built through trial and error. But in today's competitive world, wherein client also does not want to throw away money, and you also do not want to risk losing the client if it did not work somehow when they printed the advertisements with you or released the advertisements in your television, then definitely you have to come up with a mechanism. It is just an example, but and there are several examples in consulting and logistics and transportation and software and so on. And especially consultants, if they have talked about this kind of a pricing a lot, and they have offered this kind of a pricing a lot. So, under pay for performance pricing, the seller is paid depending on performance outcomes determined conjointly with the customers. Advertising, industrial services and complex engineering projects are areas in which pay for performance pricing is currently widespread, as I was referring to, newspaper and those kind of things, because ultimately it's a matter of gain. And this price innovation, if can bring confidence to the clients and somehow you are able to justify that, and somehow, if it did not do well and you are charging less, then it definitely develops client satisfaction and loyalty as well. So, this is again a very important kind of a thing. Now, price to drive market expansion, this is very important, because at the end of the day whatever we are talking about is related to market development, and that was the key which we started building upon as far as the whole scenario, market development, whole of the value chain, which which we wish to develop, the benefit of whole of the value chain, and keeping that value chain intact, and that is how we are talking about innovation in marketing all through. So, in market expansion, let us remember that growth after a stage is subject to innovation, and innovation in marketing especially. You see, up till a point there is a demand, so then there is an inevitable growth, but then after that what happens? Within that market sphere, if you keep on fighting, then it is a tough fight and you are trying to snatch the competition, and if you move into alternatives, then again it is a competitive based kind of a perspective, and even if you go for a blue ocean perspective, then somehow also you have to look at a fresh kind of a start and so on. There are several constraints to that, but then if you are innovating as far as marketing goes, then it should lead to market expansion, and if market expansion happens, the structure becomes bigger, then there is a scope for you to grow within that structure. Otherwise, value chain marketing would not be realized, as we would all know, because it would stagnate somehow after a particular kind of stage, and you would realize that shapes of industries have changed historically because of this kind of a thing, when those players who have been leading did not look into innovation with the perspective of market expansion. And once it is good for value chain, it is realized, it is also good for micro segments and target realization, and then otherwise it may not happen. And we have also been talking of share of pocket expense. Today customers are spending money on so many things, you want to shift their attention from one place to this side, which I would be talking upon in integrated marketing communication distribution as well, and especially integrated marketing communication when I would be talking about innovation within IMC. So, that definitely matters a lot when we are looking at price or pricing to drive market expansion. So, rather than drive competition for market share, as I am saying, innovative pricing approaches expand the overall market. IKEA does not allow costs to dictate prices, rather it determines prices based on what key customer segments are willing to pay. It is intelligent, it is innovative, because IKEA traditionally is an innovative company, so they could think in terms of product innovation as well as price innovation to couple up that product innovation, and that is intelligent. So, the company then works backward to determine allowable costs. This focus on prices as drivers of cost allows IKEA to continuously expand the overall market for home furniture, and I have talked about this example a couple of times before as well. Zero as a special price. Now, this is very interesting, and I have mentioned about this briefly when I was talking about Reliance Jio and these kind of organizations in my earlier discussions as well, but here it is a structured account of how things happen. So, zero is a special price uniquely capturing customer attention. A number of companies seem to have mastered the art of profitable growth while essentially giving away the main product. Ryanair, I talked about this example earlier, and this is a unique example which we have seen, and Southwest Airlines also had similar kind of a perspective around pricing and innovation, but Ryanair is much a talked about example. So, Ryanair, with average flight revenues of just $40 per customer, barely breaks even on its flight operations, yet it is Europe's most profitable airline, largely as a result of profitability of its ancillary revenues, income from third parties, early boarding fees, baggage fees, onboard sales, and so on. Sugar industry has also been looking at this in India. When you see, from selling sugar, they have a different kind of a revenue which might not be so high, but then they have product integration and the process integration and so many things which they are doing. That is how overall profits are quite high. Google search is free, advertisement is sold, that kind of a thing. Fast communication, newspapers given away for free and advertisements are sold, and newspaper industry I talked about last time as well. And open source software, standard models are free, customized versions are sold. Linux and these kind of software options, they have long mastered similar kinds of things, and open source code definitely relies on such kind of pricing models at several spheres. So, you see, open source code software, as I am saying, compete very successfully by using similar pricing strategies. Then comes in participative pricing. Recent advances in information technology enable the customer to take an active role in pricing. Larger the customer interaction with the portals and the selling avenues and environment, larger is the enablement of, as far as interaction on what kind of pricing should be there. And that not only keeps on checking on the willingness of the customers to pay, but that enables the seller to maneuver within the pricing. And I would be talking about pricing tactics in my next section, and there we have specific examples on this. And you see, while explaining pricing, somehow in different sections I am repeating on some elements, or some elements are overlapped with each other, but that is to generate a chord between different lessons or sections which we are going through, and that is also related, and examples are also repeated fewer times just to generate a connection between what we have been talking about. So, participative pricing comes in two forms: name your own price and pay what you want. Now, this is again an important thing. Name your own price mechanisms asks customers to submit a bid price for a product. This is what I would be paying if it suits you. The customer receives the product only if this bid price is higher than an unknown threshold price. When this kind of a things come in, it is a competitive kind of a thing. Basically, you are assured of the kind of innovation your product is bringing on board, and then it is the desire of the customer to acquire that product. And definitely, so many organizations and many portals are working on this. Pay what you want allows the customers full discretion in price setting. In contrast to NYOP mechanisms, sellers have to accept any price including 0. Now, that is the progression in terms of from the stage of name your own price to pay what you want. So, even if it is 0, then it is acceptable to the seller somehow. So, examples of pay what you want pricing can be found in information services. Wikipedia is also there. In museums, there are voluntary contributions. In the music industry, there are example Radiohead is there, and the hotel and restaurant industry is also there, and several other organizations. I remember visiting several religious places in this country, my India. I am proud of my country. So, and when I visit several places in India, I realize that there are several kinds of I would not say rest houses. In Hindi you call them dharmshalas also, wherein those are maintained by non-profit organizations, when people can go and rest for a while before they go for their prayers wherever they are visiting. So, there is no foundation on what you want to pay. It is a shelter, you just go, you stay, even if you do not have any money, it does not matter, but then you can always donate there, pay in for that as far as those things go. Contingent pricing as an alternative to a fixed high or low price strategy. You see, here we are going for this either high or low. Contingent pricing is an arrangement to sell a product at a low price if the seller does not succeed in obtaining a higher price offered during a specified period. Now, this has to be a preconceived arrangement within the value chain itself also, plus there is an effort, there should be an effort to support this kind of a pricing or to enable this kind of a pricing, wherein brand does not gets depreciated, or the brand value does not comes down in due course of time. So, there you would realize, when we would be talking about integrated marketing communication, you would realize that keeps on giving the strength to the product and the brand itself, and that can enable this kind of a thing as well. For example, Caterpillar sells its spare parts to dealers with the option to repurchase the item at a 10% price premium in case another dealer or customer runs out of stock and has an urgent need for product in question. That way you reduce the inventory cost as well, and you can keep on moving parts from this place to wherever the demand is, and in the process your value chain partner also gets benefited. Then comes in individualized pricing. Information technology enables service companies to, and I have talked about this a bit earlier, but now I am expanding that. So, information technology enables service companies to charge substantially different prices for identical products or services based on individual customer data. This is interesting, and this is all technology enabled. This is also AI enabled in this present era, where AI is telling us so many things, and those things are deciphered by storytellers in terms of what can best be done in terms of as far as analyzing customers' willingness to get associated with the product and the prices as well. So, SunTrust, currently the Trust Bank, one of the largest US banks, is implementing individualized pricing for car loans and for home mortgages. The company uses software to search for instances where it undercharged customers willing to pay more for a home mortgage, and also detects cases where the company lost business due to excessively high prices. Today, travel booking portals, airline booking portals, even railway booking portals are sensing that, and travel booking portals are offering prices many a times through their AI understanding on this basis as well. Many a times the customers, if it's some customer at the same time, if you are looking for a global pricing kind of a system by travel booking portals, then some customer trying to book for similar kind of a travel gets a lesser price, and some customer gets a higher price, even if they are trying for within the similar kind of a window. And window differentiation is very common, as we have all experienced in due course of time. The software then produces an optimized individualized price for different customers, as in case of Trust Bank we are talking about. So, this is again very interesting when we are talking of this whole kind of a structure. I would be coming back to you with again different kinds of pricing mechanisms, coupling those with tactical elements of pricing, while we are building upon the case in terms of as far as the whole scenario goes around pricing strategies. And that would be my last segment in pricing, or I should say innovations in pricing, to suggest that pricing can be a concentric element of driving innovations in marketing. I would be coming back to you. Till then, keep enjoying, keep looking into references, keep looking into books, keep looking into text. I will be catching up with you soon. Till then, goodbye.